Welcome to Prime Cut, Default Prime's weekly video game news roundup. I'm your host as usual, Steven Snakeykin Lindsay, and due to some circumstances involving my family, this episode is being uploaded a little later than usual. Anyways, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Notch's new game. Also, we're going to be talking about how EA is officially considered the worst company in US for the year 2012. We also got news and rumors involving the next Xbox. We'll also talk about the DLC pack coming for Mass Effect 3 called the Resurgence Pack. And we have a lot more info to go over for this week. So since it's packed full, let's get right into this week's episode.
Cave is a game company known for their shmups, or shoot-em-ups, such as Bug Princess, Death Smile, and others. It's now their 2-year anniversary of creating games for the iOS and Android devices under the name Cave World, and they're having a sale to celebrate it. The games on sale are on the screen right now because I so can't pronounce most of those games. This sale is lasting from today all the way to April 15th. Also this week, Bug Princess 2 was released and will be on discount for $4.99 till April 9th. So if you're a fan of shmups on your handheld devices or phones, then check these games out before they go back to full price. While the 3DS Kingdom Hearts and Theatrhythm Final Fantasy are released in Japan, we in other parts of the world have to wait patiently for them like usual. At least we now know for sure when both of these games will be coming out to these parts of the world. Out on July 3rd will be Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, while on July 31st will be the release of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Though if you're like me, you're probably more excited about the Kingdom Hearts release date than the rhythm-based Final Fantasy game. The man behind Minecraft, known by many as Notch, has revealed his new game. Now if you're following news on April Fool's Day, then you probably heard a little about this game while it was being called Mars Effect, but we have the real name of it now, 0x10c. Or maybe it's supposed to be 0 times 10 raised by the C power. I'm really not sure. Currently, we know that the game takes place in a parallel universe, and one that takes place trillions of years in the future in that parallel universe where the galaxy has become full of massive black holes. Now, you'll be part of a lost civilization waking up on a ship. That ship has a set amount of wattage that can be used up, so you have to figure out what you want to connect to your generator, needing to decide between important items, less important items, and luxuries. There'll also be a fully functioning computer on the ship that emulates a 16-bit CPU. Other info briefly revealed is that it'll be mining, trading, and looting, space battles against other players and computers, engineering, and also duct tape. Perhaps one of the more interesting notes about the game is that multiplayer just might actually cost you a monthly fee to play. Now we're not sure about that yet, but it's hinted that that's a good possibility of happening. But the single player will only be a one-time price. Only with time will we learn more details about this game, and we'll be sure to tell you about it as we learn about it. If you are a Mac gamer and have been holding your breath for Deus Ex Human Revolution to be coming out on your computer of choice, then you'll be happy to hear that the Ultimate Edition will be coming out on April 26th for Macs. This edition will include Deus Ex Human Revolution, the Explosive Mission and Tactical Enhancement packs, as well as the Deus Ex Human Revolution The Missing Link DLC, a 40-page book of concept art, a bonus disc featuring a 44-minute making-of documentary, a motion comic, animated storyboards, CGI trailers, and the game's soundtrack. All of that will be going for the low price of $49.99 too. I knew people had issues with EA, as well as Activision, but we're not really talking about them right now. But I didn't think that people would consider them the worst American company. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of other companies out there that are actually worse, but then again, I'm not everyone. In the end, on the Consumerist Report, it came down to Bank of America and EA, which EA beat out by 64.03% to 35.97%. Now, one could argue that this could all be due to the whole Mass Effect 3 issues involving the ending to it in its DLC. But if that is the case, then it makes me worry as the game was made by BioWare and EA's just the publisher, and everyone wants to go and blame EA. Revealed earlier this week on G4 TV's X-Play, Harmonix has revealed their latest music game, Rock Band Blitz. Unlike the previous Rock Band games, this one will not use any of the musical instrument peripherals. Instead, the game will be similar to the first games they created, Frequency and Amplitude, and use the actual game controller for the console. The player will switch between different tracks, which will correspond to different instruments. Though it is similar to those two early games that I mentioned, it appears to be adding some unique elements to help distinguish them from each other. All in all though, it almost appears that we're going in full circle here, going from music games using a regular controller to ones that use a peripheral like a musical instrument, back to one that uses a controller. Then again, that's a lot cheaper on the consumer than having to go out and buy peripherals every few years. Rock Band Blitz will ship with 25 songs on the game disc for now, and you can also use all the Rock Band songs that you've downloaded over the years or will decide to download. Earlier this week, Amazon's very own video streaming service came to the PS3. This means that there's one more option for your streaming service on your PlayStation 3. Plus, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you'll also be getting all of the free goodies as well. For those that don't know how to download the app, all you need to do is go to your TV video tab in your dashboard and then go to My Channels to find and download the service. Many people out there have been kind of lukewarm to DLC for Batman Arkham City. Primarily this is due to the fact that several of them have been either new skins for characters, new characters that can only be played in challenge rooms, or new challenge rooms. Rumors are afloat now that there'll be a new single-player DLC that features Robin and Harley Quinn. All of this coming from some supposed leaked PlayStation trophies. Now this leak doesn't necessarily prove that this DLC will be single-player, but from the descriptions, that appears to be the case. Like all rumors or leaks, we'll have to wait for the official story to be 100% sure on everything, which will hopefully be soon. If you're like me, you probably haven't heard of the Secret World. Okay, I kind of have, but I forgot about it. From what I've gathered, in the game, it shall be an MMORPG that takes place in our modern world, but it features those creatures of the night that we've grown to know, ancient myths, and even urban legends. But not aliens, because that's sci-fi. If you decide to pre-order the game, you'll be getting a few extras. You'll get guaranteed early access to the game, which is going to be up to 4 days prior to the game's official launch, or at the least 1 day prior, an exclusive in-game item providing an experience boost to progression, an exclusive in-game t-shirt featuring a unique monster design, a powerful pet such as the ferocious wolf, the Egyptian cat, or the loyal hound to support the player in combat, and a head start on character naming before the game launches. Now the game does look interesting as it's not the usual high fantasy looking game, but the question is, can it compete? So last week we had rumors involving the next PlayStation, codenamed Orbis. Of course, this week we gotta have Xbox 720 rumors. So here's what the latest rumors involving it have. A Blu-ray drive, 2 GPUs that are said to be equivalent to the AMD 7000 series, 4 to 6 cores for the CPU, Kinect will be built in, constant internet connection required, and a Christmas 2013 release date. As we've heard that Microsoft isn't making any announcements for the next Xbox at this E3, the release date is always the sketchy part. However, it is still possible, considering that the reveal could come at 2013's E3. Or Microsoft could simply be lying to us. You know, sort of like how they tell us that the Kinect will reach casual audiences, but also connect with hardcore gamers. Capcom has been getting some heat as of late involving their decisions on DLC. In Asura's Wrath, the true ending is only available via DLC, you know, as compared to beating some super secret boss that's really hard, like in some other games out there. And in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, all of the Vita exclusive characters are right there on the disc, and all you have to do is purchase them to unlock them at a later date, even though they're on the disc. Well, Capcom has given their feelings on the whole DLC versus on-disc content. While Capcom is sorry that some of its fans are not happy about the chosen method of delivery for the DLC, we believe that this method will provide more flexible and efficient gameplay throughout the game's lifecycle. There is effectively no distinction between the DLC being locked behind the disc and available for unlocking at a later date, or being available through a full download at a later date, other than delivery mechanisms. While part of me can see their stance oh so slightly, part of my logic and nostalgia hits me. The issue with this is that the content being locked on a disc means that the consumer isn't getting all the content on the game that they purchased, and that becomes the sticky issue of, are we paying for the game itself and everything on it, or are we simply paying for what the dev wants us to play on that disc content? Though, then again, back in my day, finding locked content was something fun to see that was originally planned for the game, but couldn't be done or added due to time or money. In fact, several rumors involving games came from said locked content. Now trying to find that content just gets your account banned. To imagine, it was just 2 years ago that it was revealed that the Rain-Slick Principle of Darkness would be discontinued. But late last year, Zeboyd Games was hired on to make the rest of the series. Now that PAX East is upon us, we have some screenshots of the game in action. The graphic style chosen is described as inspired by Final Fantasy V, and the battle is based upon the Grandia battle system. Also, as the series was originally planned to be 4 episodes, Zeboyd will be making the remaining episode of the series as well. Plus, episode 3 is said to be ending on a grand cliffhanger. Currently, the game is slated for a summer release on PC, Mac, Xbox Live Indie Games, iOS, and Android devices, and also, judging by Zeboyd's previous games, you can probably get this game on the cheap when it's released. While none of us may be sure if the Wii U will be more powerful, equal to, or less powerful than the current gen consoles, all things to every dev out there saying something different, at least we now know a release date for the system, which is better than nothing, right? The Wii U is slated for release on Sunday, November 18th in North America, and Sunday, November 15th in Japan, and there's no release date revealed for Europe just yet. And of course, this release date somewhat coincides with the Wii's launch, which was November 19th, 2006. Perhaps during the age of point-and-click games, you remember a game series called Leisure Suit Larry. It was the more adult series compared to some of the other family-friendly ones out there. In the last adventure by Larry, Leisure Suit Larry Box Office Bust was panned by many, and it also didn't feature the original creator, Al Lowe. Just like so many series as of late, Leisure Suit Larry is trying to come back with the help of Kickstarter, and Al Lowe is also coming back to the series. Now to note, this will be a remake of the original game in the series, not a new game in the series. With the rise of so many Kickstarters involving the revival of old games or genres, one's gotta imagine what other games might be making a comeback. Perhaps even Sid Meier's Sim Golf 2. What, only me? One of the fighting games that I've been looking forward to is Skullgirls, due to my love of the old 2D fighters. We now know we'll be able to get our girl-on-girl fighting on without us having to pay out a lot of money for it. Now if you have a 360, you'll be able to get the game on April 11th for 1,200 Microsoft points, but if you have a PlayStation 3, you'll be getting it about a day earlier on the 10th and for the price of $15. Hey! At least we don't have that much longer to wait for the game. In other release date news, we now have the release date for Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2, which will be the last in the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 series. Just like in the days of Sonic 2, Episode 2 will be bringing in Tails. Now for the release dates, you'll be able to get it on the PSN on May 15th, Xbox on the 16th, the PC and iOS versions will come out later that month, Android will be coming out in June, and the one for Windows Phone 7 will be out in July. Also, if you have Episode 1 on your console, you'll be able to play the secret episode, Metal Sonic, which is Episode 1 of the game, but with a playable Metal Sonic. The only Persona game in a series that I've ever had the opportunity to play is Persona 3. which was the portable version to be precise. While the portable version has been on PSN and recently has had a price drop to $19.99, the PS2 version has yet to be, but next week it shall be, and it'll come out for the low price of only $9.99. That price is a little surprising to me too, considering its PSP counterpart is $10 more expensive, and arguably by several people out there, the PS2 version is the superior version, but that's up to personal debate. Yes, we previously announced that on Twitter, it was revealed that there was talks about Super Meat Boy coming to iOS, but we now have an official website confirmation and also a screenshot. As previously reported, this version of the game isn't a simple port. It is being specifically designed for the iOS and its touchscreen in mind. Also, if the graphics and the screenshots are to be the judge of anything, the art style will be more cartoony this time around, and that is fine by me. For all of you multiplayer fans of Mass Effect 3, I'm sure you'd be excited to hear about the upcoming DLC, which, by the way, will be free. This pack will include 6 new characters, which are the Asari Justicar Adept, Krogan Battlemaster Vanguard, Geth Infiltrator, Geth Engineer, Batarian Soldier, and the Batarian Sentinel. You'll also be getting 2 new maps, the Hydra and the Condor. Also, you'll be getting 3 new weapons. The Striker Assault Rifle, which is a Krogan rifle with explosive rounds. Its rate of fire increases when the trigger is held. The Kishik Harpoon Gun, which is a deadly one-shot Batarian weapon. It causes bleed out or disruption of target. Lastly is the Geth Plasma SMG, which is a fully automatic Geth submachine gun. Its rate of fire increases when the trigger is held. That's so much goodness, and all for the price of free. Seems like someone's trying to butter some people up. With that, it brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. Now, to be up to date on news in the gaming world, bookmark our website, defaultprime.com, and also subscribe to us here to be up to date on our videos. Now, as I always say, because I'm a little bit too lazy to figure out new catchphrases, till next time, gamers.